Good morning. Good morning to everybody here today. Good morning to the West Coast, which is 8 a.m., which is one of the earliest streams I've ever done. Good lord. And oh wait, we don't want that one yet. We want. Oh, did it freeze? No, it did not freeze. Where is my exploration? There we go. How's everyone doing this morning? How do I sound? I look good. I look okay. Yeah, I'm fine. I am good. So today, I have a special treat for everybody here. Let me turn this up a little bit. I'm really low. How is that? That should be good. I got to play Dragon Age the Veilguard for 8 hours at an EA preview event last week after PAX because things go crazy and are non-stop. Where the heck? Let's stop that. Why is exploration not playing? There we go. And why is exploration not playing? Oh no. Anyway, let me see why these are not. There we go. Gotta hit the other rubber. So I get to play 8 hours of Dragon Age the Veilguard. Was pleasantly surprised by a lot of the stuff I played. I really did enjoy it. I want to give you a little bit of background about me and my history with Dragon Age. So I love the hell out of Origins. I think Origins is one of the best RPGs I've ever played. It's if you're older, if you're an older generation, like people compare it to like a fantasy KOTOR, or very similar to KOTOR, right? Like has that world, has those characters that you're experiencing for the first time. Absolutely love it. Fantastic game. Game of the year, right? What fantastic RPG. Putting all the cards on the table, I absolutely positively hated everything about Dragon Age 2. The combat system felt a little more mainstream, less tactical, more button mashy. I didn't care for a lot of the characters in Dragon Age 2. I absolutely hated what they did to Anders in Dragon Age 2. And I just didn't like the overall story of Dragon Age 2. It felt rushed, it felt haphazard. And then we had a long break. In fact, no, before I get to that, like I actually, when I beat Dragon Age 2, I snapped that disc in half and threw it out. I was not a happy camper with Dragon Age 2. Then we took a long break, several years, right? Longer. And we got Inquisition. And I'm very, very neutral on Inquisition. I didn't think it was a bad game. I didn't think it was a great game. I was very neutral on it. For me, the combat was very bursty. And I didn't care for the like spending your whole load on one attack and then having to wait 20 or 30 seconds to like do it again, and like there was nothing to do, so I never got to a flow state. And I didn't care for Solas, and I didn't care for a lot of the main characters in that game. If I thought someone could be mopey, oh good lord, like Solas gives Cloud a run for his money. I think the whole game I just had him stay in his room. I didn't even take him anywhere. Did not care for that. So that's my kind of history about the Dragon Age games and my takes on them. Inquisition, I was very because I'm a huge high fantasy nerd. I love high fantasy. Like if it's a high fantasy game, I'm in. High fantasy movie, I'm in. You know, high fantasy book, I'm in. Like I love it. I think it's fantastic. Turn this down. It's really loud. So when I went into this game experiencing, you know, it's going to be mainstream. It's going to be like God of War. They're going to mainstream it even further. And I was pleasantly surprised, honestly, by the combat system in particular, because I really thought it was going... I'm old, so I really like slow tactile combat, where I can plan out things, have a minute to kind of assess the battlefield, and then plan again. They did a really good job with the combat system. It's actually really intuitive, and I really did like how engaging it is. But, and of course, if there's anybody in chat that has any questions about the times I played or the stuff that I'm allowed to talk about, please ask in the chat. That's why I'm here today. I'm trying, this is something I'm trying that's new. I'm head of video for Shacknews, so normally what I do YouTube stuff, particularly, but all the capture, we had like over, you know, several hours of footage of capture, of gameplay, and it has to be editorialized, which means it has to be edited with commentary, or it has to be edited in like a feature or a preview. So if I would editorialize all of it, it would have taken like forever. And I don't have that time, unfortunately, because I'm doing lots of other stuff at Shacknews. So this is like an experiment to see if this kind of preview is something people are interested in watching, if the Q&A actually works, if people actually ask questions. So I've never done this. This is super easy, by the way. I love doing this. Like, this is so much easier than having to create a preview and voiceover and write. Like, there's so much more process that goes into that. This is much faster and much easier to do. Oh, you want to see the character creator? I could show you that. I have footage of that. So if there's anyone from EA watching, these are not this isn't the raw gameplay. This is 10-minute clips that I'm gonna loop. But yes, I have. Hold on, I have character creator gameplay. It was fantastic, Eric. Fantastic. I've never seen a more in-depth character creator, I think, in my entire life. Everything, and there is. I got to be careful here because I can't remember if I showed. There is partial nudity in this game, like in Baldur's Gate 3, in the character creator, which is something you don't see. I think it's becoming more standard. It was super detailed. I go through it now, but you have like your standard base head, and then all the hair, skin tones, cheekbones. Reminding me a lot of like Fallout on steroids, with much better hair. The hair in this game, ooh, the hair is absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. Some of the best looking hair in a video game I've seen in a long time. And I don't know what system they use, but I know it's not Unreal, because I think Unreal has a trouble with hair, or they did. That's why you saw a lot of bald Space Marines back in the day. So in depth. So in depth. I go through, like, I could have just spent 2 hours, 3 hours in the character creator. In fact, when I was at EA Studios, they told me, they're like, please don't stay in the character creator for the whole session. Like, go through it, because we were only going to get to play our character the first like hour, and then they're going to preload us in other segments, and those preloaded segments would have other characters, so we wouldn't see our character. The one thing I wish it did do is if you could like upload a picture of your face, but I guess that's just security, and like how you could scan your face and like put it in as a template, so you can start building around that. Drew, I know the GPU, but I don't know the other system specs. I played, I had 30, actually that's a lie. I have 32 gigs of RAM, and I played it on a 470. I don't know what the processor was, and we played it on an SSD. So I hope that's enough. They were actually concerned because they said it was too hot. I thought it was freezing in that room, and they're like, it's getting too hot, but it looked gorgeous, and it had no slowdown. But it was a 470 NVIDIA. It was an NVIDIA 470, and 32 gigs of RAM was what I remember seeing when I was messing with the OBS settings. But like, yeah, you can see, like, I'm a little nervous here because I'm not, I don't remember if I show nudity on the character creator or not. Hopefully I don't. I don't think I did. I think I was careful. But yeah, like, they have bulge size. Like, they have the weirdest stuff in this game. Bulge size, like, you're like, okay, sure. And it can be 0, whatever we want. Like, that's the beauty of it. And like, your character is in all the cutscenes, which makes it even better. Right? Just like, and that's a true Dragon Age fashion. Dragon Age has always been that way. I'm actually playing this at 200% speed as well, because I told you I spent a long time in the character creator. But no, I enjoyed it. I mean, you can basically make anything you want. And like, you'll see in some gameplay later, when they preloaded us in, I went with a female. I forget what the race is called. The one with the horns. I want to call them, what are the race? I haven't even had my coffee yet. So I'm still waking up. But what do they call the demon people, the demon looking people in D&D, if it were they're called? But like, I made like a female version of them, and it looked gorgeous. Like, it looked absolutely gorgeous. Thank you. Yes. It's confusing because in Origins, they didn't have horns. They got a redesign in 2. So I always confuse them. Like, I'm like, wait, who people with the horns? They had a redesign in the second game. Oh, dude, I don't think so. I mean, it was super smooth. I would be shocked if it wasn't 30. Teflin, thank you. Yes, Teflins. Yes, thank you. I'm still having my coffee, folks. It's very early on the West Coast for me. 8 a.m. like a normal person. You shouldn't start my 8 till like 9. No, the cutscenes were good. I mean, I see. I wonder if I have some in the exploration gameplay I could show you. Let me stop the. Let's see if I show you that. So again, just to clarify, if anyone from EA is watching, these are 10-minute, pre-edited 10-minute segments of gameplay that I have on loop. So there's no shenanigans happening. We were limited to how much we're allowed to show in a video, and that's each video had to be segmented into 10 minutes. So these are 10-minute, pre-edited 10-minute clips of each of these sections that I just have on loop as I'm talking. Let me see if I can find you a game. I was more concerned about showing off the gameplay than the cutscenes, but I can flip around here. You can kind of tell me if you think that's... I might have not gotten any. Yeah, I don't think I got any. I think I showed exploration. I didn't want to show cutscenes because I want to talk over the cutscenes, right? Yeah, the hairstyles are rad. Let me go back to the hairstyles. We pause this. Go back to character creation. Why is this? Oh, all of them seem to be playing. There we go. I can skip this around too. Hold on one second. Yeah, the hairstyles are incredibly impressive. The hair is definitely like the most impressive thing about this whole system, is how the hair moves. You folks have seen screenshots already of IGN's exclusive footage where they have this like character with this long, gorgeous hair. And they have so many hair. Yeah, how many? It's absolutely phenomenal. Phenomenal. Someone asked if Sandal was in it. I don't know if Sandal's in it or not. I would like to see Sandal, but I didn't. If he is in the game, I didn't see him. So we only played the first act, or parts of the first act, rather. So he could be in the game. I'm not sure. See, I wish I had a hairline like his. My hairline's receding like a widow's peak. Yeah, a ton of beard options too. Beard options are finicky, especially when you don't have like I tend to like keep my beard pretty trim. So like I was trying to find like one that was more stubble, and stubble can be hard, but they actually had mine. Like that's pretty close to what I had. Again, if this seems like it's going fast, it's because it is. I wanted to show as much as the character creator as possible, so so I sped it up. This is at 200%. So it's 200. So it's a 10-minute video. It's a 10-minute demo of me going through the character creator, speeding it up 200%. I believe so. But they kept using the phrase Act 1, Manquito, so I'm assuming it is divided into acts. And based on certain things we did that I can't specifically talk about, things do change. So going back to an older area after a certain point of time, and after Act 1 or after a certain thing that happens in the game will be different. So you will lose out on things later if you don't do things there, and things get changed. And I think the game does warn you. They did say the game does warn you before you do that. Like, you know, there will be changes if you do this. You might finish up anything you have here. It looks similar to like Final Fantasy VII Remake when you leave and things change if you come back. No, dude, I'm telling you, they took people are being very cynical about this game, and I was one of those. I was just like, oh man, like is Dragon Age really, like, is it still good? Like, can we come back from this? Because like I said, I don't know if you folks saw me at the beginning of the stream. I was very neutral on Inquisition. I don't hate Inquisition. I don't love Inquisition. I was very neutral on it. I don't remember playing live, and I probably should go back and play again. I remember I didn't like the combat because it was very bursty. And I never got into that flow state because I was doing all these attacks, then like standing there for 20 seconds waiting for things to reset. So, but yeah, it is separate. To my knowledge, it is separated into acts. I don't know how many acts there are. I just know that they told us we were playing Act 1. Oh, yep. That's what I was afraid of. Oh, this was the cool part. I'll freeze this a little bit because these were like your backstory. And like if you guys have played a Dragon Age game, you know that these have like bearings on like different conversation options and how people treat you in the world and like that kind of stuff. And they had a lot of them. So of course they have the Grey Wardens and they have the Veil Jumpers. What else? I'll pause it again. The Shadow Dragons. Lords of Fortune. The Morn Watch. This is what I chose. I chose the Morn Watch because I thought that was just like undead necromancer cool, right? That's the whole point. And then the Ativan Crows, of course. I was a little disappointed in the fact that like each one of these backstories didn't have, because remember in Origins, like based on your class and or even your race, sometimes you would start in a different area and like that would lead you into the story. This one, I believe you all start the same, which is disappointing to me. I wish they would kind of do like individual quests, like just for the openings, like small little things of you leaving, you know, whatever, to Vinter, I think is the city the crows are from, to Vinter to go, you know, meet Varric and stuff like that. Oh, dude, yeah, the clothes. I mean, like, if you talk about detail, the clothes are absolutely phenomenal looking. Absolutely phenomenal looking. I don't know how many variations there are on the clothes. Like I said, we didn't get to play a ton through like that part, but here's more of the backstory for the character creator. Super cool stuff. Defender of the Dead. I mean, I'm down. Like, yeah, there are 4 voices to choose from. You can do there's 2 female and 2 male voices, and you can change the pitch of both to high or low. So there's 4. I think I'll go over for hopefully I included in this. There was so much footage, guys. Here we go. Here you go. Here's some of your voice stuff. Also want to shout out to the Dragon Age Reddit. I really do appreciate letting me post. Well, yeah, okay, so remember I sped this up 200%, so that's why he sounds like that. That's because I sped it up because I spent a long time in the character creator. I wanted to show as much as possible. They don't sound like chipmunks in the game. It's because it's my fault. I sped it up. Can I slow it down in? Okay, I think I can slow it down. Let's see if I can slow it down for you guys. I'm just going to see if I can slow it down. So you can hear the voices. I came as well prepared as I could.
Oh, we're not in trouble.
There you go. There you go. Be quiet for a minute and let you guys hear the voices. So I type in my name.
Time to get to work.
What's he been saying now?
Well, we're not in trouble.
Let's move. Let's... I'm happy we're here. All of us. Hi. We'll be working together. Hi. We'll be working together.
There we go. Not bad, right? Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, not bad. I wanted to make sure you guys hear the voices. I didn't even think about that. But yeah, you can be warrior, rogue, mage, right? 3 main classes. All the classes can be everything except dwarf, because obviously if you've played Dragon Age Origins, the dwarves can't have access to magic. They can't touch the veil, which also makes them resistant to magic. So yeah, so there you go. I got some of the voices for you guys. Oh man. I did play the mage. I went one class only because I really wanted to get the feel of combat, and if I kept switching classes, I felt like I wasn't gonna get that kind of stuff. Let me see. Let's go here. Here we go back to exploration a little bit. It's very indicative of the Dragon Age series, right? You have these large levels, like you load into these large hub zones, right? Like this is one of the areas. I forget something forest, and oh god, I forget what it's called. But like it's a large zone for you stuff to do there, and enemies to fight, and you know, little treasures to find. Very indicative of the original Dragon Age. I mean, I want to say they have this sense of they have bigger scale in this game, like a bigger sense of scale, but in Origins had like these almost like huge dungeon like elements, like the deep roads in the Dwarven Kingdom, and I don't know, I feel like I've never gone back to that. Even Inquisition, they felt a little smaller than they did in Origins, and that necessarily isn't a bad thing, because you know, you don't want to be traversing large amounts of empty space where there's nothing to do, right? So, but it was gorgeous. Like here's some water, like some of the water stuff, because it's already been kind of released in the preview. Which, by the way, we have a preview on the site, like a professionally edited preview that I did, and then we also have an interview with the developers, the art director and the narrative designer. Excuse me, about the process. So we have that on our YouTube channels if you guys want to watch that afterwards. But yeah, I mean, I feel like there were a lot of lessons taken away, and I feel like so much work went into this game, and it took so long. This isn't a cash grab. This isn't a half-assed attempt to make something quick. They really did take their time on it. There is crafting, but I didn't really get into it. There is crafting, but some, like, they talked about, like, some type of, like, potion making and modding, something like that. Like, we didn't get into that stuff. See, the thing is, like, I wasn't really allowed to show the map when I played, so I didn't want to, like, accidentally pop it up and, like, leave it and put it in the live stream, whatever. So I didn't open that. I think there is crafting, or some type of crafting. Like I said, like the thing about this game is it still is a little mainstreamed. I was still learning how to do this stuff. All the energy stuff, all the mage stuff is a different color. So if you're using necrotic attacks, it's like a green. If you're using ice attacks, it's blue. If you're using fire attacks, it's red. Oh, dude, preach. I love Origins combat. It was very slow and very tactile. I'm super old now, and I love that kind of KOTOR-esque, like you kind of do all your buttons and you send them out, and then they execute their attacks relatively slowly too. And then you wait for things to fill up, then you reposition, and then do things again. Like, I loved that combat. Can you use companion abilities? Yes, you can. You can. You can use it. There's a quick access. You hold one of the shoulder buttons. I was on controller. You hold one of the shoulder buttons, and you can just tap it, and they can do the ability. Hey, Grungy. Yeah, no problem. You know, this is what I like doing, honestly. And I was really, like, again, I want to shout out to the Reddit that allowed me to just put my Twitch stream there. I get that Reddit has rules. I get that it's self-promotion. I understand that. But at the same time, I'm super busy with a bunch of different things all the time. And I don't just focus on one Reddit or one game. So it was really nice of them and that community to let me just post, say, like, here, I'm going to be doing this tomorrow if anyone's interested. Because I don't know where to put it, honestly. Like, where else are you supposed to put something like this? I don't have a gigantic following on Twitter. I tried to put it on a Facebook group, but I think it got denied, which is fine. I'm not upset about that, but can you determine the Inquisitor's personality in addition to appearance? I don't remember. Let me go back for a minute. I know people are enjoying the thing. Let me go back to character creation for a minute and see if that was an option. So I don't remember if it was an option for personality. I think that the personality is indicative of what you choose in the dialogue boxes. So like, you know, if you want to be snarky, if you want to be, you know, professional, like it has those symbols. Like if you want to be like a strong guy, it's like the arm. And if you want to be funny, it's like the drama symbol. So like, I think it's indicative, your personality is indicative on the choices you make rather than setting something on the menu screen. Because if you missed it, here's basically the options for customization. You have all the physical stuff. And then in terms of appearance, it's name, and then 2 different male voices, 2 different female voices. And then you can change the pitch on both of them. So essentially, if you count the pitches different voices, it's technically what, 12 voices, I guess. 2, 4, 6, 8, something like that. Okay, so the mage uses. You guys have probably looked at this. I have some. I'll play the explanation again. Sorry, hold on. I'll move this stuff around for you guys. I know you've seen this already. I can't show the map, so I'm trying to avoid. I was really careful when I captured this, so I didn't show the map. So you essentially have like 2 fighting styles, right? You have 2 fighting styles with the mage anyway. You have a staff, which is slow and long range, and you have this dagger orb combo, which looks fantastic. And I wonder if I got some of that combat in here, and I'm regretting if I don't. But it's really cool. So there's 2 different styles you can choose from. And you can switch at will between them if you don't, you know, if something's not working. And I did. See if I have it in here. Had an aggressive one. I set up to really just dictator. Yeah, I mean, you have that option. You definitely have that option. Like, they really did. So I think it's one of those things where sometimes it won't change the outcome. The outcome is just scripted. But it's, you know, if it's funny to be a hard ass, right? That's the funny thing. Yeah, the animations of the mage beautiful. I'm flashy. Did I feel like I was in a Dragon Age game? That's tough because the game it's one of the most vibrant games I've played in a long time. Like, there's a lot of color. They use a lot of use of color in this game. It's tough. So here's the thing. If you like Varric, yes, because Varric's in the opening of the game, right? You see Solas, there's Harding. You know, you see those characters from Dragon Age Inquisition and 2. So, yeah. Oh, that's a tough question. Did I feel like I was in a Dragon Age game? It's tough. I need to play through Inquisition again. I need to play through that game again because I played through it. Wasn't the biggest fan of a lot of the characters. Wasn't a big fan of the combat. But I did beat it, but I don't remember a lot about it. I mean, it feels... When I'm having conversations, I guess, yes. Like, when I'm having conversations with characters and seeing outcomes, it does feel like a Dragon Age game. I feel a little, here we go. I'll pause it here. I feel, it's interesting. I feel a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a little bit hard because the game, you guys have seen the opening, right? With Solas, so like it starts up here and then you go all the way down here, and I feel like a game should start lower and build up to that, right? And build up to that point. And they gave a good explanation in the interview that I did with the dev team. They said that they wanted it to feel like a James Bond movie where like they have a cold open where like you're ending another story. I might do more of these. Like, I don't know if you guys missed it earlier, but I'm trying to, I'm ahead of video for Shacknews if anyone came in late, and I usually do like video pieces, like finished, you know, VO edited flow pieces, but those take so long to do, and there was so much footage, and I'm like, how can I, you know, and essentially what I have here is 40 minutes of footage for you guys. I have 4 10-minute videos that are segmented out into different just aspects of the game to show off. I can show off the mage skill tree. That was something I liked to I want to show. So the interesting thing about the mage, the skill tree is it looks gigantic, right? It looks really gigantic. It can be a little misleading because a lot of the skill trees are passive buffs. They're like, you know, your spells last 20% longer, you know, or two seconds longer, or they do 20% more damage. Like, so a lot of it is like passive buffs that just kind of stack or make your stuff hit harder or last longer. So it is like not all of those things is an active ability. In fact, like there aren't that many in each section. I think there's like 2 or 3, maybe 4. That's the one thing, Grungy. If like, I'm really surprised they didn't just do a hard reset, because like they do a decent job of like throwing back to your character Rook and talking about your backstory and how they found you. But like, why not open with me alone, like doing something and then meeting these people and then going on an adventure with them? Because they're already friends. Like Harding and Varric are already my friends when I come in. And I guess the call to adventure is like the hardest part in a campaign, right? How do you all meet? Oh, in an inn. You know what I mean? So like, I get that's hard, but I said this earlier with the backstory. I kind of wish you were doing like a solo adventure, like in Origins, and then you meet Varric, and then you decide to go with him instead of just like being best friends already. The mage has like this, the staff has like this charge, like this like kind of beam, and I loved that beam. I just loved it. And then if you hold it down, there's a skill if you hold it, you do it for longer than 3 seconds, it starts to stack and get stronger. So it just feels like a laser or like a proton pack beam, and I was really using that a lot in the combat. Here I have like by the end of the game, I was getting really good at the combat, or not really good, but I was understanding the combat more. Yeah, proton pack beam. That's what a new like. What do they call it? Yeah, I love the feeling. I use it a lot in here. So this is like toward the end of Act 1 that I'm playing, and I had a lot of talent points to spend, and I was doing a lot more with the abilities and starting to see the synergies and starting to see the flow of combat. And it definitely is less bursty than Inquisition. Like, I'm doing things in between cooldowns. Some things have multiple charges, so I can do them more than once. And I always felt like I was engaging. That was my biggest problem with Inquisition. I feel like I would do all the abilities, and then I'd be doing nothing until they reset, and then I'd do the abilities, and I'd be nothing. Like, that took me a while. That comp system took me a while to understand and like get the knack of. So yeah, there's that beam, yeah. Wait, where's my where's the audio on this? Go give you guys some audio. My word state was something I took on craftable playthroughs. No, it's still there, Grungy. It's still there. There's things that you do that affect the world. And I don't know if you came in earlier, I said that you'll make a decision. You'll make decisions, and it'll warn you, like, you know, this will be changed moving forward. So, like, do anything you want. Like, kind of like similar to FF7 Remake, where they're like, hey, if you're leaving, this is going to be different when you come back, so you should probably finish any side quests, like that kind of stuff. There's definitely world ramifications about what the decisions you make in this game. They kept that. It wouldn't be Dragon Age if they didn't. Duendo? No, you don't. You can hotkey them. You can hold down a trigger. I played on controller and press a button and just activate it. You don't have to pause it. I like pausing it because I'm old. I only played the mage, and I went heavy in Deathcaller because I really wanted to get the mage's combat. I really wanted to understand the combat in the game, and I didn't feel I was going to get that if I switched over to Rogue or switched over to another spec. I really wanted to focus on something so I could get the hang of the combat and feel the flow and how it works and how it synergizes. We have a preview on our site, shacknews.com, also at youtube.com/@shacknews, where I have Ozzy, who also played the game, did a written preview, and I put a lot of the rogue combat in there. The duelist, I think, was what he was playing. No, the gameplay was great. I went in very, very pessimistic, being like, man, I hope it's not like Inquisition's gameplay. Like, took me a long time to understand how that works, and there was a lot of downtime in that gameplay, and it was very bursty, you know, like it was like free shatter done. And like this one definitely has a flow. You do wait for cooldowns to like on some things, but like it's not that bad. Like I always felt that I was engaged, and it even feels like a little bit of like the Arkham series. You play Batman Arkham City, they have like a little, there's like a little warning on top of your head to like dodge an attack, right? And it'll be white or yellow, and you can also block. I didn't do much blocking, I did a lot of dodging, and if you block, you can counterattack and do all this weird stuff. So I definitely feel like there was a flow state, even when you're waiting patiently for cooldowns to recharge or abilities to recharge. It's definitely evolved. They're definitely learning, like even I say EA, they're learning, I mean like the devs of BioWare, like they're learning, they're taking a step like, okay, what did we learn from the, it takes a little bit from all three of the series, honestly. I mean, Origins is arguably the most different out of all of these, because it's such an old school, I guess I could say that, such an old school game with how the movement and combat worked. Very akin to KOTOR is I'd call it, right? That's very similar, almost. It's not quite turn-based, but almost, right? Like it's almost turn-based. This is a lot more engaging. They throw a ton of enemies on you, a ton of enemies. But they're definitely learning. Like the combat was, I would say this, the combat is better than Inquisition, period. It's better than Inquisition. The combat, like it's more engaging, it's more fluidic, there's a flow state. When you start stacking debuffs on enemies, like it feels good, and you start doing things. Yeah, I mean, you can do great things. And, you know, the classic Dragon Age stuff is still there. You can freeze an enemy and shatter them, all that good stuff. There's also, like, multiple things in the talent tree that allow you to, like, you know, stack more or, you know, and do more damage or call it. Like, it's really cool. You can drain life, too. It's one of the big things with the Death Caller is I can drain life out of enemies and restore my own, which was kind of cool. Let me see if I can go, I can link to the preview, and in that preview, if you guys want to see Rogue gameplay, Ozzy, or one of our writers, one of our senior editors. Here we go, is this it? Yep. Here, I'll put a link here. There we go. Okay, they actually do damage. So they do damage, and I've seen them. There was a couple times in my playthrough, you won't see in this game, where like I didn't do anything, and they did kill things. So like Harding will shoot the bow, and Naive will do her magic, and they will kill things. Like they are helpful. They will do damage over time, slowly, but like it's a Dragon Age game. You're the main character. You're doing the blunt of the damage, but they do help. They don't just stand there in the background and do nothing. Like, they do a little bit of damage and kill things. They can also heal you. They have, like, healing abilities as well. And different things synergize. Like, that's when the Inquisition kind of aspect comes in. Like, there's certain things you do together that are bursty, right? Someone will knock someone down, and then someone will do, like, a devastating attack, and they'll do, like, 4 times damage because it synergizes, right? Like the shatter thing. Yeah, there's these green pots everywhere you can smash and have and get get health potions. So I can turn this up a little bit so you folks can hear the I can play a little bit better. What would you say is your favorite new addition to the series from this entry? I think it would be just the evolution of the combat. Like I mentioned this before, the combat was what I was most worried about, because I still want it to be tactical. I still want to be engaged, but I don't want to be playing God of War, right? Or something like faster. That's not akin to the Dragon Age series. Like it should be tactical and slow, and it was. Each enemy has like different challenges based on how you use them. There's priority targeting, right? Like there's an enemy lobbing bombs at you. Like you have to deal with that enemy. Like you can tell, like this is actually a good example. Like there's an enemy lobbing light at me from like across the map, and you see it on the ground, and that becomes very, very difficult to try to do things because you just dodge consistently. So you have to go kill them first, something like that. Hi, Lucci. Oh, I think it looks fine. Yeah, I mean, I remember more of them being like goblin-like. But like, I'm a fan of like undead and that kind of stuff. Like I have like, a huge Nightheart army for Warhammer Fantasy and a huge vampire counts. I guess they're called the Grave Light Lords now. But I love it. Yeah, I think they look fantastic. And the story with the elven gods, like, akins to why they look that way. Yeah, they look terrifying. Honestly, they look almost. I always thought they were ghouls. They said darkspawn, and I'm like, oh, they're ghouls though, right? They're ghouls? No, they're darkspawn. I mean, we didn't. Okay, well, let me get to iCap or any aiming assistance. I feel like there is on controller because this isn't an online multiplayer game, so you are gonna have aim assistance on that, or at least an option to have aim assistance. I don't think this game is definitely not to be twitchy. Like there were even times you can see with my beam, like it'll like lock on because you can lock on. You can lock onto a character, right? Like in a almost like a Legend of Zelda or a Dark Souls game, and like focus on them. So and you can just tap the thing and hit it. I mean, there is gore. Like there is gore. I wouldn't say it's on par for the first Dragon Age though. Like there's not cutscenes where you're covered. Maybe there are. I mean, maybe there are in the game. If there are, I didn't play them. There's not like if I blow up an enemy, the next cutscene I'm not covered in blood. They scaled back on that. But it definitely has some good sound design, especially with, like there's like this town with all this blight, and like the way it pulses and the way it like makes noise is very disturbing, and it looks disgusting. I'm gonna go through these one at a time. So yeah, it used to be a CRPG. Now it's definitely taking a step back from like the traditional like MMO experience, which I think maybe someone at the studio thinks it might be too slow. And to be fair, like to their credit, like Origins is extremely slow, and then it got faster and faster and faster. But I think this is a nice balance. Like it does still feel like an MMO. It is faster. You know, you are acting in real time. But I didn't have a problem with it. The banter. So yeah, so Krager, I came in earlier. So when you were talking to other characters, I think it was Grungy asked about personality traits. So you have options to like have a discussion, and then there'll be certain key points in a conversation where like you'll see like a fist, which will be like, oh, this is the hard ass, you know, way to respond. Or you'll see like the tragedy phase, which is like the humorous face to respond. Or you see the heart, which is like the romantic way to respond. So like you have different ways to carry a conversation to kind of make the game your own. So kind of stuff like that. So like I mean, you can play like a hard ass, you can play a lighthearted person, you can play a comedian. Like that Dragon Age DNA is definitely still there in the game. Definitely still there. There may be points of the game where you know, that are scripted that don't change like no matter what the outcome, but it is cool to have those options just to talk with certain people to get those different dialogue choices. And there's even like other dialogue choices depending on your backstory. So like if you're a mage, obviously I had conversations with Nev, and like I could go to another screen where it would say like my class or my backstory, and I would be able to elaborate more based on that. A little bit. What does it say? It says Though I did, so somebody in Ozzy's playthrough, Ozzy played a duelist, someone in his party did have a taunt ability. So, like I said, I only played the mage, so I'm not sure how much holding aggro or not holding aggro works in the system, because I honestly didn't have that stuff. I would need to play it for like multiple days to understand how that system works. But I didn't notice like a tank build. I think you can build like a tank, and the warrior for sure is like tanky, right? More HP, can be up in enemies' faces, that kind of stuff. But it wasn't like World of Warcraft where like there's a tank and he pulls aggro from you and you can just do whatever you want. I'm sure you can, like with major enemies and bosses. I think that might be a thing. We taunt the boss and then do some damage, right? As they're taunted for 5 seconds or whatever the cooldown is. Oh, dude, DA2. You're gonna bring up DA2. At the beginning of the stream, I mentioned that like I have a deep hatred for Dragon Age 2 in terms of story, and what they did to certain characters, and so I don't remember a lot of that game. I hate play through that game. I hate play through that game hardcore. I did finish it, but I remember just being like searingly hot, angry at it. I don't even remember why anymore. Oh right, what they did to Anders was a big thing to me. Because I thought Anders and Justice were such cool characters, and here we had this character who arguably had a demon or whatever spirit in him, and they were actually like, it was like a symbiosis, you know, like they worked with each other, and then they made him like insane, and I'm like, I hate that. Like, I hate that. You know, like turning an anti-hero or hero into a villain is like, especially the way they did it, just was not a fan. So you'd have to remind me what. Yeah, I mean, like in terms of, you're talking about the conversation options, right? Right, Krager, that's what you're talking about? Again, just to reiterate, if there's anybody from EA watching, these are, I have 4 10-minute videos that I'm looping and moving through. So none of this is one long video. These are 10 individual clips that adhere to your rules and that adhere to your rules and your limitations. I wanted to make sure to be respectful of that. When we do go to these events, there are, you know, rules that we have to adhere to. And I'm pretty sure I adhere to all. We have to adhere to. Sorry. I mean, like the animations are gorgeous. Like all the stuff, like even the rogue, the duelist, I think, or the saboteur, was it the duelist or saboteur that our senior editor Ozzy was playing are gorgeous too. Like there's like all the characters are colorful. It's not like Dragon Age Origins where like if you played a warrior you just didn't have any flair. You just kind of like swung your sword and did your shield. Like that was kind of it. They all have flair, which is kind of nice. So you can see me, I block there. And see, here's another one that's like, see, like an enemy's lobbing these huge AoEs in the ground, so obviously he's a threat. And I can counter those. I can counter those yellows and the whites. I'm just not good at it enough yet. Oh yeah, like there's these great magic missiles, arcane missiles or whatever, and they have this beautiful animation. But the animation is a little bit long, so if you're not clear, if someone's in the middle of hitting you, you will get knocked down. Yeah, see, like I have to pause a lot and be like, okay, hold on, like, wait, what's over here? What's hitting me? Which is cool. I appreciate them doing that. You can quick recover by like tapping a button after you get knocked down, and you'll do like a teleporter roll. Oh yeah, Dorendo. Yeah, sorry. I love Origins soundtrack. It's so good. I don't mind, like, I mean, I think it's on par with Inquisition. Like, I like the main theme in Inquisition, but a lot of the music in that game I just don't remember. You know, it could have been just because, you know, that Origins was just such a a game that I hadn't played in like years, and I just have nostalgic berries for that music. And also, like, I couldn't pull, like, obviously the game's not out, so I can't pull music from Veilguard, so I just decided to use Origins music. The music was fine. The music was good, on par with the Dragon Age series, right? It's got that fantasy theme, it's got your horns, got all that stuff. So I enjoyed it. Okay, so if anyone's been playing Space Marine 2, some of the attacks are kind of akin to that. So you have like a rapid attack where like you press a button, you know, 3 times and they do like a 3 attack, and then the final attack is like in Dragon Age 2, it's like a bigger, slower attack. But you can also like time them out and length them out and hold certain button presses down. So you can press like light, hold down light, do a different attack, as opposed to light, right? Or you could do light, heavy, light, and that's a different string of attacks. Especially with the orb and the dagger. Like one of them will be like a single hit target, right? And then another one will be like a slice where like you hit everything in front of you in an arc, depending on the button presses and how long you hold them. So it's akin to kind of like that. I'm trying to think what game does that where you insert different button presses. Space Marine 2 is just coming to mind because I've been playing that recently. Warrior demo, yeah, the warrior's just as colorful. Like that's, I mean, it's hard in a fantasy game to make like a dagger and a bow user like flashy, right? Like how do you do that, right? And they do it. A lot of elemental attacks, that's how they do it. Like a lot of like, oh, electricity elemental or poison elemental, like, and they make sure that it's very flashy. So Krager, did that answer your question? Hope that answers your question. Idocap, our companions invisible. So I didn't have any companion die in my playthrough, so I don't know. I mean, whenever I brought up the menu, they were never down. So, but it doesn't mean they can't be downed. You know what I mean? I was playing on normal difficulty, so I don't know. Maybe that might change. But judging by this menu that you just see on the floor, I don't see any health. And I don't see any health on them. So I don't think they can be downed. Yeah, similar to that. Yeah, you press the button, different things happen. So like if we pause this here. So like, yeah, I don't see a health bar on them. I didn't even pay attention to that. I was so focused on the combat. So I don't see a health bar in the companions. So making an assumption, they might not be able to get knocked out. You know, they do damage. They're not going to carry the fight, right? They're not going to carry the fight. They do damage, and they are there for support, right? To combo with each other or you. And you can see, like, on the right, Harding has a healing ability. So, like, Harding's your healer in this case. So if you run out of potions and you need a quick heal, you can do that. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I wish I really wanted to focus on one aspect so I could learn the combat with the limited time I had available with it. I wish I would have used the dagger and the orb more because they're just so cool looking. The orb flies around, he shoots it out. Like, it's really, really cool. Yeah, I mean, if you've only played Origins, Lucci, I mean, I loved Origins. I love Origins to death. This is definitely another step in the right direction. If like I call Origins like the pinnacle of the series, right? Hated Dragon Age 2. Dragon Age Inquisition was like a small step in the right direction, and this again feels like another good small step in the right direction. So like I think they're heading in the right way, and there's a flow state to this combat. I know it looks chaotic, but there's a flow state about what's hitting me, and taking cover is a thing too. I'm not blocking or countering at all because I'm terrible at it. I'm just dodging. But you can counter and do like a devastating, cool move with that, with all the classes. Especially if you talent into it. Right now I'm just taking his life and sucking the life out of enemies. I think it's super fun. No, yeah, you're not babysitting. You're not relying on Donald to heal you. That's the thing. Like I said, they may get knocked out. But like, you know, they didn't get knocked out in my playthrough. That was a cool move. That's one of my talented moves. It's Life Siphon, so I could do like a little animation and then like take a large chunk of life and add it to my own, which was fun. Yeah, but see, like, I've never played KOTOR, but people speak very highly of that game, and Origins is very indicative of that game from what I've been told. It's very similar to that game. Yeah. Yeah, like you don't directly control them either. Like you can't position them. So they kind of do their own thing. Like you cannot take directly control of your companions, which is like, that's a good and a bad thing, right? Because you're basically just focusing on yourself and your positioning and don't have to worry about the other people in your party since you're not switching to them. Where is that? As much as I like RTW play combat. What's RTWP? I'm sure probably gonna... RTWP combat. I don't think it would be listening for them for that comment make. Oh, real time with pause. Okay. I mean, I love real time with pause, and they do. Like I said, they implement it here, and it's more of a way to. They described it as like a huddle. Like you're like, okay, stop. Something's hitting me. I need to stop. I need to see what's hitting me. I need to see where they are. I need to see how far they are. So it's kind of a way to like assess the battle, and then like you can do. So like the idea in Origins is there. Like that's what I appreciated about it. Like it's not. It doesn't feel just tacked on. Like, oh, we needed to add it because it's Dragon Age. Like it feels like, okay, stop. What's hitting me? He's over there. Okay, I'm gonna here. These two guys here. I'll go to the left and I'll go around them. I'll have Harding do this, and I'll have Nab do this, and then I should be able to get through the armor, and then I can stop dealing with the guy throwing bombs. So that's basically my thought process when I was playing it, which is nice. I appreciate that. Like it doesn't feel tacked on, and you don't have to use it. You don't have to use the pause. Everything is accessible as from a quick hit menu by holding one of the triggers. So, and then selecting something. So you don't have to do that. Is the rhythm dagger used for AoE? So the dagger has different properties based on the weapon you equip. So there's certain dagger and orb combinations that use fire instead of ice, or use poison, right? Or necrotic energy instead of ice, which is cool. And I'm kind of wishing, I didn't play with it that much, but I thought the animations were cool. I wonder if I can, let me see if I can show it to you very quickly. Might be a little difficult because, let me see. Okay, hold on. See if I can show that to you, because if I can show you a short clip of that, I just got to find out where it is, because I didn't use it that much. I want to make sure that this is this one. Things might get wonky for a minute. Hold on, because I'm regretting not having clips of that, because I did use it for a short time. There's actually a boss battle I might be able to show of me using it briefly. 1 second, guys. Sorry, folks. Excuse me. Yeah, that's right. So I was fighting a boss battle and was losing, and I switched to the orb, and the orb. Here we go. So 17 minutes around there, and it's 3-4. 1 second. Let me see if I can get this to work. Spell orb. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I got it. Give me a second. Spell orb. Oh no. Did I freeze? I'm doing this for the moment. I should have. I'm trying my best to show you guys as much as I'm allowed to. Okay, so this is a boss battle I was having trouble with the staff, because it was just, I was like, man, the staff is so slow. and he's attacking me very quickly. So I believe I lose this battle, and then I switch, or I think I switch halfway through. I'm like, the staff isn't working, so I switch to the dagger and the orb, which is, like I said, it's such a cool animation. There we go. So I have the dagger and the orb now, and they kind of throw the orb. You can kind of see how she throws the orb and how she slices. And that's just the rapid attack. You'll see I'll do different combos based on how I do the button presses. See, then I die. Ooh, yeah, see, I'm gonna get hit here. It was at that moment. He knew. So you can kind of see, like, and that orb changes based on the weapon you find and whatever element is attached to it. So this is, I have fire, but like I was using ice before then. Or I think there's also poison or necrotic. It's green, so it's like it's necrotic damage. Kind of. It's like it's a cool prison that's underneath water that's like protected by magic. This was a cool mission. Yeah, the dagger combo is pretty cool, and like that's just a style you can choose to do if you want. Like I appreciate a game that allows me to play the way I want, and I could have done this with the staff, but I was having more success with the rapid striking of the faster weapon because I could attack, move, attack, move, attack, move. Like I'm getting my ass kicked here. Yeah, I lose. I go back to staff. Yeah, I switch back. So there, I wanted to show you guys some of the weapon. I've never, I didn't play Elden Ring that much. Yeah, so I don't know, but if that's what it looks like, I'm sure you're right. But there's different things you can do. There's different like things you can pick up that augment certain abilities. There's like this amulet mechanic where like the amulets do like passive buffs or can be activated for like a quick burst of like mana or resetting cooldowns, stuff like that. There's a lot of depth to the combat, and I was still getting used to it at this point. Yeah, the orb is just super fun to watch the orb fly around.
Very few people survive Colivan's rehabilitation.
The weapon, the staffs do, and the daggers do change based on the color, that kind of stuff. Yeah, there was. I have him here. Let me see if I can find him. I can't tell if he's in my party yet. Lucanus. Lucanus stood out to me. If you guys were fans of Anders, Lucanus is very similar to that regard. He's an Antivan Crow, he's an assassin, he's super charismatic. In fact, like his whole like the Tevinter, that's the city the crows are from, right? Tevinter, like it gave me like very heavy Assassin's Creed vibes. I'm like, wait a minute, am I playing Dragon Age or Assassin's Creed? Like the way like they talk and stuff like that, because they're all like, Beratore, they're all Italian, or like some like got an offshoot of like, European Italian. So I was like, oh, okay, yeah. I like Lucanus a lot. Lucanus is definitely someone I think that I'll have in my party because, he's possessed by a demon. So like he makes for fun conversations because no one can see the demon but him, and he's talking to it a lot. And I think that's funny. Because like they'll cut to him talking to the demon, and then like they'll cut back to us, and like he's staring, having a conversation, and all of us are like, who you talking to? So stuff like that makes for fun interactions.
Target a year ago.
Demons, they've been.
See if I find like a picture of him talk. Here we go.
When I find Zara, I'll ask her.
Yeah, so like Lucanus was definitely listening to that picture. Here's like the Assassin's Creed crew. I call it.
Katerina gave me a contract. I'm not breaking.
Oh, Ezio, yeah. What's the matter, you? Like that kind of stuff. Like it was great, but it's great. It's fantastic. It definitely adds that flavor of like culture to the world, right? Like the different regions have different dialects and different accents. It builds to the world.
Say your new contract's easy.
I can't remember if we've ever been to Tevinter. Have we been to Tevinter in any of the games? I know I remember hearing of it.
I need to be there. We are under attack.
Dude, this is Assassin's Creed. When did this become Assassin's Creed?
We need you.
No, Viago. Sara came for us here, in my house. She took Katerina from my house. You find her and cut her heart out, Lucanis. Vi and I will hold down the fort.
I'll give her your regards, Thea.
For Katerina.
Like I said, my knowledge of Inquisition is very limited because I don't remember. I played through it. I don't remember a lot of it though. That's the Antivan Crows. Yeah, the head of the family of the Antivan Crows. Yeah, like each section. Like this is one of the quests that revolves around the Antivan Crows, and this is super different. What I played here, like the conversations were a lot different than what Ozzy played because his backstory was actually an Antivan Crow. So he got a lot more dialogue options, got a lot different, got lots of different dialogue choices and the dialogue prompts than I did, which was cool. See if I can find like a quick thing of his demon.
You'll have to kill me.
Yeah, see, so here you guys talk about dialogue choices. Here's like, there's 3 different options here. There might be more depending on your backstory, right, or your class. But like this is like the comedic, right, snarky, sarcastic. This is the sarcastic in Fallout 4 option, right, the little tragedy head.
Well, that's awkward.
Hold on. I can go back to the character creator and I can pause it on the Antivan Crows and maybe it might tell you, IdaCap. I can find out. But let me find a picture. Oh, there's the demon. There's his demon. He's always like around. I just think that's such a cool concept. It's very, very Venom, right? Very, very, very Venom in like Marvel Comics. I love that fact that, have these conversations with things that only you can hear. It's kind of cool, Let me see. Hold on. We'll go back to character creation. Okay, where let's see if we go back to Tevinter. Go back. Here we go. Okay. So these again, we showed this earlier. This is part of the 10-minute segments that I've clipped out. This is from the backstory. So, oh wait, that's not the backstory. That's the thing. Where's the? Slowly. Okay. So Grey Wardens, Veil Jumpers, Mornwatch. Come on, Greg. Come on, past Greg. Go to the next one so I can see so I can show them the Antivan Crows. So, but basically, so you can see here, this is the Defender of the Dead. This gives you your backstory, which again, I wish was a quest. Like, I wish it was a quest instead of just a page of text. It'd been nice to see that. Oh, see, I picked the wrong one. See, I gotta go back now. Oh, okay. Just move my camera real fast so you can read the right to see like what that is. I don't know if it says, let me see if I can read that on the stream because I can't see it very well here. It doesn't say. I think I actually have to click on it and then it'll open up the backstory and it'll tell me, but I didn't do that. Which, I apologize. Did I click on it? I don't think I clicked on each one. I should have. I usually do. So that was the, like, yeah, that's, I don't know what family he's from. I'm sure it tells you if you open up the thing. Go back to combat. Something I can show. move my cam again so you guys can see the abilities. Dude, yeah, like I said, like it's very Assassin's Creed, very leathery, very hoodie. They have the feather thing going on a little bit, but not too much. Like I told you, the armor design is spot on. What is the playstyle in close combat? Actually, I might be able to just pull. Okay, I can't show you a lot. I mean, I have these 10-minute segments. I can't show videos longer than 10 minutes in an entirety. So let me do my thing again. If you guys want to see the close combat, give me a second. I won't be able to show too much of it, right? I can only show these in 10-minute, like, pre-edited segments. So I can't show you too much. Gotta follow the rules. Gotta make sure that I see it enough to where. Okay, so 801 at 52. Give me 1 second. 801 at 52. Let's see. 801 at 52.
One thing at a time. For now, let's not die out here.
There's a lot of dog spawn down there. The wise have told.
It's never fallen before, and it won't today.
Hear it a little bit. Sorry about your ears, folks. Right, so this is Ozzy's gameplay that was in the preview. So you've already, it's already, but this is the duelist, I think, or the saboteur. So this is the duelist and the saboteur. So you can kind of see, like, and this is again, this is the very end of our session for the day. So I'm hoping that Ozzy, like me, just got better as the time went on. Yeah, see, so somebody had a question about auto aim. I can't remember if it was you, Krager, or somebody else, but yeah, you can lock on. You can free aim, but it also helps you tremendously. This isn't this isn't a twitchy game. So you can see yeah, you can see that like it's the style is it's very different. It's very different from Mage. Like can completely you're not only you close up, but the speed on which you attack and react is much quicker than the Mage. He threw a bomb yeah, this is I mean I saw a little bit of stuff when I edited the preview, but there you go. There's a nice little knockback thing. A lot happening. These were tough fights. These were very tough fights. There you go. Yeah, I think the only limitation for class was mage, and that was dwarves, obviously because of lore. I think that was the only limitation for where's my webcam? Oh, I want you to see. There we go. Now I can't show you guys too much of this. I can only show about 10 minutes, and then I have to stop because I can't. It has to be because I can't. Yeah. So enjoy it while it lasts because I can't go back. If you want to see more Rogue gameplay, we have it on the preview. This is the same clips I pulled from that, so it's from the same 10 minutes basically. So now he has like poison daggers. See, like they make it it's very elemental focused, like the really elemental damage dots and stuff like that. I believe there are talents to like be proficiency in range. So like if you want to be an elf bolden wielder, you can do that. Will you have replay value? Well, there are 5. What will you have replay? Do you mean like replay value, like replayability, or do you mean like replay? The stream will be VODed if you want to come back and watch that. Trust me.
Good luck.
if I could just segment out like specific things to show you guys without commentary, I would love to put that up, but there were rules, so I have to editorialize it. I have to talk over it. I have to give critiquing as I'm talking over it. Trust me, because I would be putting up full mage tree, full rogue tree, rogue combat, mage combat, like just as is, because I know people enjoy that stuff, but these were the rules, folks.
Janos is dead.
The streaming replay. Well, I mean, like, it'll be a VOD. I mean, we'll put it up at... Like, this is the first time we've done something like this in, like, a long time. We're much more usually... Professional's not the right word. Formal. We're more formal in our coverage. So, like, we like to, you know, take certain segments out and do that stuff. More combat here. So there'll be a VOD, and you can come watch it there. Oh, I messed up the thing for the stream. That's disappointing. Let me fix that. So see, like, he's locking on. Like, you can see the lock on. Like I said, I didn't play the rogue. Ozzy played the rogue. So, yeah. Can only show this for about another minute or so, then I have to stop and go back to the pre-approved footage. There's a lot of coverage going live today. All the outlets were allowed to post their coverage today, so there'll be a lot of coverage, and I'm sure someone else will have what you need if we don't. But we appreciate you stopping by and asking questions here first. Yeah, I talked about those earlier. Yeah, the spears and the bomb throwers are really obnoxious. I think there are. I remember seeing those in the options to remove the numbers. And they talked about it too in their Q&A afterwards. So I think you can remove them, or you can scale them down or completely remove them. Twitchy shooter. No, hit the. No, it's gonna hit the dark spawn thing, yeah. Show you a little bit more of the flashy combat and knockback. Knockback's a thing. They literally take a book out of Final Fantasy Remake. There is a stagger mechanic. So, like, they can get in, there's knockdown and there's stagger. And when they're staggered, they take additional damage. So they really, it's funny they took that out of Remake, right? Like, they took the key out of Remake. This is PC, Esquire. So PC on a 4070. Okay, I'm gonna stop there because I don't want. I don't want to show. I'm not allowed to show that much. Let me just remove this so I don't go back to it again. Yep. This is stuff that you guys saw already. Some combat that I already showed you, but someone may be in here. No, it's not console. It's PC. It's on 4X. I mean, I prefer playing on console personally, just because. I mean, I have a super nice PC at my home office, but I mean, I'm here 8 to 12 hours a day. I need to get out of my office at night to play Space Marine or whatever and not be in my chair. I need to be somewhere else, like, just to take a break. I'm on controller. I'm playing pad. I'm a pad player. I just like it better. To me, like, keyboard or mouse. The only time I want to use keyboard or mouse is if it's absolutely 100% required of me, like in a MOBA or even in an MMO. Like, I'll take it, but like if I can play pad, I'm gonna play pad all day because it's just I like it better. I'm at a keyboard all day. I don't need to game on a keyboard all night. Yeah, this was I think I had an Xbox controller, but I believe that you can use a PlayStation controller as well on PC. So. And just once again, just shout out to the Reddit mods who let me post my link there. I know there are rules. I know that you want people involved in the community before they post self-promoting links, right? But I wasn't sure where else I could put this to let people know it was happening. So I appreciate that. I really, really do. And it's wild to see a positive reception in a Reddit like that. Pretty cool to see that, like getting upvoted and people asking questions and saying they'll be there. Like we don't get that a lot, so it's really, when you do get it, you're kind of like, oh, that's great. You know what I mean? It just feels nice. It feels like your hard work, because we all just destroy ourselves trying to get, you know, all this stuff done for multiple games, not just Dragon Age, and we really do appreciate it. Neve, N-E-V-E. Yes, she is a mage. And you can have cool conversations with her if you choose a mage class. Like, you can actually go deeper into, like, things that she's trying to break down, and you'll be like, it's kind of one of those, like, it's almost like one of those Star Trek things where, like, they do the techno babble. She's like, well, there can't be the veil that thick, because then the energy would be like this. And you'd be like, well, actually, like, where I come from in Dustmore, you could use it like this. She's like, oh, really? Yes, really? And then you have, like, a little conversations like that. And I'm sure it's the same way based on your backstory and in your class, that's typical Dragon Age. That's what feels the most like Dragon Age, right? I got to pick this cool backstory for my character. Would love to see it. Would love to, like, experience that backstory before I jump into the game, but I get it, you know. Can't have 10 unique individual quests. That would take way too much time. Yes, she is a mage. She's the detective of the group. That was the one thing I hoped. So, like, we played this game, we were very handheld, right? Like, they said, you're going to play this section, then we're going to load you in this section. So, like, they kind of put you right in. And my biggest gripe with it was that, like, you need to find somebody and you're kind of just walking forward and you just run into them. I'm hoping that in the full game, like, you actually do other things before just running into them, right? Or there's a quest to find them rather than just, like, stepping into a zone and instantly finding a companion. You know, I like the exploration aspect of it, you know, the experiencing the first time aspect. What does it kind of look through? The origin aspect of just being somewhere the first time and exploring it and getting to know the characters, getting to know the troubles. My favorite quest in Origins was just like the windmills having trouble with zombies. I was like, that's awesome. That's like so classic fantasy. I'm totally in. So like right here, so this is the Ativan Forest. This is the same 10-minute clip I showed earlier, but you it's very Inquisition-y in, like, the way you explore, and, like, you know, there's little things here or there that you can open, little regions you can get, money you can get, items you can get, right? So there's a little bit of exploration in these, like, I like to think of them as, like, they're big hub levels, right? So you go from, like, your base to one of the mirrors into like a big zone, right? It's very Inquisition-y in terms of that. Like, little notes you find, little world building flair. Who you take with you will vary, right? You can, as far as I can tell, you will be able to go back to a zone. I don't know the extent of when you'll be able to go back, but the game does warn you when there's going to be a catastrophic consequence to something, and something might change. Which I don't think I showed off enough of the mage tree. Let me show off the mage tree a little bit. Again, this is another 10-minute clip of just the mage skills that I went over one by one. So you can kind of see there's 3 specializations, right? There's 3 specializations: Invoker, Spellblade, and Deathcaller, right? So those are it. And that can be a little disappointing to some people. I was really hoping for a shapeshift tree. I thought shapeshifting was one of the coolest things in Origins. It was so unique at the time. I know Baldur's Gate 3 did it, but this was super unique for that time period to have something like that. To turn into a bear or a spider was super cool. They did not have it in here, which I was very disappointed to see. I love, like, the nature-y spells, so. So AutoCap does the map design have some Metroidvania elements is what they're asking. Kind of. So certain characters have certain specialties that allow you to traverse the environment. So, like, Lucanus can summon platforms from the void, from the veil, so you can get to different locations. The Tinkerer girl, the elf, I forget what her name is, but she allows you to activate, like, certain doors with, like, these crystals. So kind of, but Also, you can call them in remotely if you already have the companion. So the only really Metroidvania aspect would be if you didn't have the companion yet, you couldn't go into that zone. So it could be like kind of invisible wall, like gating mechanic, so you don't get too far in a zone or, you know, into one zone. But like, it's not Metroid. It's not like, I wouldn't call it hardcore Metroidvania at all. No. Like I said, they're large hub levels, right? They're large. It's not an open world, which is fine. Like just in Origins and Dragon Age 2, they're just large. In Inquisition, they're just large hub zones. So like, yeah, so here you go. You see like the ultimate, like the Crypt's Hand is like their ultimate ability, that you're special. I mean, well, like, we've already kind of, yeah, we've like, if you pick up a new weapon and equip it, it does look different. I don't know how many models. I don't know how many models of different staffs they have, or daggers, or armor sets they have, but they all look gorgeous. You can kind of see in the character creator how gorgeous they look. And you can also test it in different lights. So like, that gives you example for like, you know, end game, beginner game, to kind of show the armor difference. But like, no, but like, and they play differently based on their attributes. If they have different attributes, right, different elements, elemental damage is a big thing, like it was in Inquisition, right? There's like different levels of the damage. So like, you know, there's things that slow up, like the ice damage slows opponents, and some may freeze opponents, right? After like 3 attacks or 3 stacks, might freeze an opponent or whatever. And that's all in the skill tree too. You can see it. Fire, you know, does dots, obviously. And there's different status effects, like sundered, staggered, knocked down, stuff like that. So like, you have these keywords and phrases that tend to synergize with other parties of your group, or even yourself. Overwhelm. See, there's these keywords here that I didn't have enough time to really get into them, but like, you can definitely see like the tactics are there. Oh, there's a lot of armor. He needs to be sundered. You know what I mean? Oh, he's super fragile, but he does a lot of damage. He needs to be knocked down or staggered or whatever. And the talent points are very gracious with the talent points. You can just, at any point in the game that I played, the part I could just refund the points and respec at any point. There was no cost. There's no lockout like in Skyrim. Like it's just, you can refund it. If you want to try a different style, you just refund all your points and just spend a couple minutes in your talent tree to do it again. See, okay, so here's a good example, like the combat. Oh, did I stop it in time? I don't think I did. Go back. Someone asked earlier about like the combat. Like, so here's an example of like a talent tree. It's not an active ability, but how you tap and how you attack, and you don't just mash like in Dragon Age 2, right? Like, you don't just mash the button 3 times, like, or hold it down. How you do that affects how you attack. So like, you can see here, like, tap X when a bolt is fired to form is fired from an X. So like, you can tap, and if you tap it quickly, like if you time the tap correctly, another bolt will fly out. So like, there's a skill to just hitting the normal attacks, which keeps me engaged as a player, so I'm not just waiting for a cooldown to reset and just dodging attacks, right? So like, there's things you can do, and like, that's bolt volley was just one of the examples. And I was like, oh, that's cool, because like, I'm shooting these bolts, tap it once, and I would see another bolt come from like the corner and hit him, right? A little portal will open, bolt will fly out, which is kind of cool, right? Very, very magey. What do you mean by skills? Like abilities? Like, what do you mean by, sorry, skills are abilities, but like, what do you mean by skills? Like active abilities? Activated abilities? Go games. Go Vidya games. Vidya games good. Some have a flat cooldown, and then others have charges that you can spend, and the charges refill after X amount of time. So there's the shadow. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the stream, not at my OBS. So it's like, okay, cool. So like, Frost Nova has a cooldown, as you can see here. Like, Frost Nova has a cooldown of 60 seconds, right? It's an area control effect. It does cold. It freezes enemies, right? So that's one aspect. That's an activated that's the activated ability, right? That's the activated ability. Yeah. Then we have Ice Blast. See, so it costs. So also a thing I didn't go over with the comp system is as a mage is you're building up mana points. So as you hit things, you build a bar, and the bar, like just like in Final Fantasy VII Remake, just like the ATB bar, like you're building up charges, and when those charges get to a certain point, you can use an ability. So like for Ice Blast, as I'm regular attacking, building my bar up, it costs 2. I think they call it mana. It's 2 mana points to do that. And like at the end, I think at the end of the first deck, I had 3 mana points. So like those can be upgraded as you level up. No, definitely. The key with the mage that I didn't like in Inquisition was that I felt like you were so reliant on cooldowns. You're just waiting for the next ability to combo into and dodging attacks until then and not really doing anything else because your attacks were so meager in Inquisition. Like, it's been a while since I played them, but that's what I remember. No, I always felt engaged. So like the only time I felt throttled is like when I would open the ability wheel or the pause the game and look at my companions and be like, okay, I can't use that for another 30 seconds. I can't use the combo. So it becomes a resource game of like, I have to hold this combo for a strong enemy, like a boss or something or someone I need to deal with right now. So it becomes like more, it's like I said, it leans into that strategy tactic thing where you're just holding out the resources to spend on a certain enemy that you know is going to give you a hard time. I never felt like cooldowns were too long because like the mage specifically, like there's a beam and the beam feels so good. I'm just doing that and it siphons life as I was doing it too, and it gets stronger the longer you hold it. So I'm doing other things rather than just staring at a cooldown clock, which what I feel I was doing in Inquisition a lot. Waiting for, you know, shield bash and the ice move to reset so I could kill this thing because I do like this much damage in my regular attacks. Regular attacks do a lot of damage here. There's also the skill set attacks. So you can see a lot of these things here like degrade, like a lot of the this is a huge talent tree, but again, it's I don't, misleading is not the wrong word. It seems like there's a lot more abilities here than there are. So a lot of the abilities in the mage tree modify or add damage or add duration. So you're not adding buttons to a rotation like an MMO. You're still going to have 5, maybe 6 abilities if you spec wide, you know, that you rotate. Some of those abilities have charges, some of them have cooldowns. So, but most of the stuff is either going to make something last longer or make something stronger. Like more keywords, primer, affliction, like that kind of stuff. I still don't know what a primer is. Radius of abilities, primer, duration of abilities. After triggering a duration ability, wait 5 seconds to regain 25 mana. So yeah, so that refills your charge bar. There's definitely a better flow than Inquisition. Like the combat feels so much better than Inquisition, because that was my biggest gripe about Inquisition, was just the combat just is way too bursty and I had nothing to do for like 30 seconds. Right? That was my biggest problem. When I got it, but it took a while to get there. So we were like how most stuff is, we get an invite from EA saying we're going to hold an event and would you like to come? That's basically what it is. So like Ozzy had to fly there. I drove 4 hours in traffic to get there. I live very far north in California and EA Studios is south of San Francisco. So I drove and I hit traffic all the way there. It took me like 4.5 hours to get there. And then another 3.5, 4 hours to get home. So it was a long day, but I got all this great gameplay out of it. I got a great interview with the art director and the narrative designer. That's on I'll link that too. Hold on, let me link that real fast. I'll keep playing this for people who want to watch the thing. If you want to pause or go back to an ability, let me know. I will. I can pause and do that stuff if you guys don't have the time to read it. YouTube / Shacknews interviews. How's that doing? Only 4 views. That's okay. I mean, it's an interview. I don't expect it to do baller numbers. So that is an interview with the Dragon Age developers. If you guys like insight and information, that's what that site is. Matt Rose and Francis and the lead design director and the art director, excuse me. If you guys want to see that stuff. This has been a lot of fun though, folks. It really has. It's, again, I'm going to sound like a broken record. It takes a tremendous amount of effort to do like a preview piece, right? Do like VO, do editing, capture, like make it flow, make it have like a sense of structure. Like it takes a lot of work. Doing this stuff is super easy and I love doing it. But we try to do it a little more formal than this. This is like our first time doing something like this at Embargo in real time. You know, it's the first time we've ever done something like this. Like if you want to see more of that, I'd love to. Like this is obviously a big game, obviously one of the bigger games of the year. In my opinion, I know Indiana Jones is still coming out. I know Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is still coming out. There's like this fall is loaded, folks. It's loaded. So, like, the thing is too, like we had this access before anyone else. So like people who are watching now, we get that audience. Once the game is out, or in most cases, a lot of influencers get the game early because it falls off a bus or whatever. And if we were doing this at launch, we'd have like 10 viewers. So like, because they'd just be watching their favorite influencer, and that's fine. But this is what gives us, this is what puts you on, this is what puts us on the radar for you, that we're doing these things, that we do this stuff. And simply subscribing to one of our 3 YouTube channels or just visiting our site daily for news is like a tremendous help. You don't even have to spend any money, right? It's fantastic. Liking our videos, watching our content, visiting our site just to read. I'm going to do like this little thing for our site. Our site is probably the best reading experience you'll ever get because we don't have ads. There's a little Pomeranian that pops up in the bottom corner on desktop, and that's it. Like, go to our site on mobile. Like, I challenge you to go to any other site and like look how invasive the ads are. Like popping up, things pop. You have to close windows. You're scrolling through multiple ads in the middle of the article. Like our site doesn't do that. So if you're on mobile, shacknews.com, check it out. Just look. Just give it 2 minutes. I guarantee you'll love that reading experience. Thanks, Squires, for doing it for us. I appreciate it. Did I already go over Frost Nova? Did I jump around too much? There's definitely, I would say there's definitely more strategy in the combat in this. Like more things to do if you hit more than 3 enemies, single enemy, that kind of stuff. Did I get it all already? Oh, I guess I did. Where is the... You guys will probably want to see the Spellblade stuff. Where's the Spellblade stuff? So this is the Fire Tree, Wall of Fire. That's been a staple in the game since forever. Enemies enter, get burning. Oops. Flames of asphyxiation. Meteor. Yeah, I mean, I didn't play this build. I didn't play the fire build. If you're just joining us or you're looking, if there's something you folks want to see, I have exploration, I have some spell orb gameplay, I have combat gameplay, I have character creation if you want me to go back to that. I have a nice little variety here for everyone to see. Cut in nice 10-minute segments. So, pre-cut into 10-minute segments. Just please let me know. Yeah, and this has been a fun thing to do. If I were to do something like this individually, If I were to talk about the character creator, if I were to talk about the combat exploration, that would just take me 2 weeks to do. The lighthouse. Can we show the lighthouse? I believe we can. You know what? I don't want to. You know what? There's I have clips of the lighthouse, but I don't think I can show it because there's a rule we can't show something in there, and without me pre-cutting it in advance, I don't want to accidentally click on it and get my outlet in trouble. So I can't. There, I do have a little bit of those clips in the preview. If you want to see the lighthouse, a little bit of the clips of the lighthouse in the preview. Yeah, I can't just because there's certain things there that you can't. That we weren't allowed to show. And if I accidentally skip in real time on the stream to that section, I'll get in trouble, and I don't want to get in trouble. And for those of you watching, like what happens if something like if I do something like that and I do get in trouble because we lose access to like the next event, you know what I mean, that they held, or the next preview session. So and I'd really not like to lose access because this was such a great event. And dude, the people, like if you want to go to youtube.com/@ShackNewsInterviews, like the people who make these games are so incredibly passionate. And the team is so big, it's easy to get lost in, you know, they hate the game, quick cash grab, they don't understand Dragon Age. Like, it's easy to get lost in that, but like these are individuals doing the best that they can do for this game. Like I said, I was really surprised. I came in very pessimistic, left happy. I'll go back to exploration again. Enemy design's great. Yeah, it's super. Yeah, everything. I mean, everything. It's high fantasy. It's a little flashy for. I guess Inquisition was flashy too. It's a little flashy. Like Dragon Age Origins, I felt was very grungy and very like the only thing that was flashy was the mage, really. But if you follow the story, and I say this, I said this in the interview as well. If you follow the story of Dragon Age, obviously like wizards are repressed and they're not allowed to use magic outside of the Templars. You know, like they keep them very in check because it's a lot of power, right? It's arguably like this huge gun that they can all carry that can have devastating. And like with the events in 2 that I don't like to, right? The Templars kind of fall. And the order kind of gets released, and I would kind of compare this to like Inquisition was like it showed you that people are using magic more, right? And Minrathous is like a big city where magic is practiced openly, and I don't know if that's always been the way or since the Templars fell now that's the way, but people are using magic a lot more in this world, so it's a lot more flashy because it's no longer technically illegal, right? They can't just lock you up and throw you in a tower for showing signs of magic. So you see it a lot more, and it plays a role into the story too, the fall of the Templars or the restriction of the Templars having this like death grip hold on any mages that did stuff. Again, like rightfully so. It's what made the first game so interesting, right? Is the Templars are like cops, like trying to do gun control, like really. So like it's interesting. It creates this super cool like dynamic, and ethical reasons. Like well, they are really powerful. We've seen what happens when mages can't control their abilities, right? Demons get summoned, people die, it's terrible, right? So should they be kept in check? Should we bring back like the circle and like put them in towers to train them before they release them? Like it's a super interesting topic of debate. It's what makes the world so interesting. But now it's practiced more openly. There's a lot more magic flying around. Feels a lot like D&D, you know what I mean? Like very, very flashy, very flashy. So someone was asking about like Metroidvania stuff. So here's like an example of what's her, oh God, what is her face? I should know her name. Say something so I can pause it. Oh, Bellara. She is a tinkerer, right? So she can open things. She studies ancient elven artifacts. So she is a tinker, and like she's opening these things so we can get to the next area. So that's kind of like your Metroidvania thing. So there may be something you run into in a different level where you need a companion and don't have that companion unlocked yet, and you can't go that way, so you might have to come back and check there. If I can find her wheel, I can open it and I can pause it and show you guys. This is still showing me the basis of combat and how to dodge. Oops, I missed that royally. You can see the mana on the bottom, the mana, the ETB bar basically. ATB bar, excuse me. Okay, I'm gonna pause it there. Let's see what she is. Okay, so she can heal, and she has like a ranged attack, a ranged bow attack. So she might be an archer, but like, you know, magical archer, whatever you know what I mean, whatever you want to call it. There's those arcane shards I showed you earlier. Those are cool. See, at this point, I'm still just spamming buttons, not really confident in how the combat works quite yet. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Thanks, Epic Gaming. I appreciate that. Yo, no, it's gorgeous. It's a more colorful Dragon Age for sure. I think 1 and 2 are very grim and dark, and rightfully so, right? It's dark fantasy world, right? And then they really open up Inquisition in this, super bright. And this is just like one of the zones that we got to explore. There are a lot more zones based on this. There's like a hub world where like you go through mirrors, right? And you could there's a ton of them. So I'm assuming those go to different zones that look different and feel different. Sorry if my internet is a little blurry. My internet's not the best here. I've been struggling my whole life to have decent internet. Don't have fiber, don't have Fios, don't have anything like that. I am wired in at the best Xfinity can provide for me. Yeah, the forest was particularly beautiful. Very beautiful. I don't know if you saw the waterfall earlier, but the waterfall is gorgeous. The water effects. Very pretty game. Very pretty game.
We call that kind the whirlpool. The anomaly, I mean. Never seen one this size, though.
I can show you a little bit. I see, my theory behind this was I really wanted to understand one of the classes, so I wasn't like haphazardly bumbling through all the other classes as I opened up new chapters to play. I do have some footage of the rogue I can show you. Let's see. No, actually, I got rid of it because I don't know. I'm only allowed to show much. We do have, so we have a preview on our website. Let me show you here. There's a video preview, and all of this is all. I just put the link in the chat. All of the footage in that is Rogue. Most of it is Rogue. So if you want to see some Rogue gameplay, it's there. I don't want to. I removed it because that wasn't pre-edited. I have all these are 10-minute increments, pre-edited 10-minute segments per the rules. So I didn't want to break any rules. So I would want to be really careful. So I can't. But if you want to watch it, the preview's there. That's all Rogue gameplay. If you want to see the Rogue gameplay, which plays massively different than the mage. So like here's the thing, right? And I'm gonna get crucified for this. I love high fantasy. I love D&D. I couldn't get into Baldur's Gate 3. Something about the isometric angle makes me feel like an observer and not a player. And I really like being in the world. Like, you know, like Skyrim. I like being experienced. It doesn't have to be first person, but I like being ground level you know, seeing the world from like a ground level view, bird's eye. And like even when I play Baldur's Gate 3, I zoom in all the way, and it's very hard to play that game because it's not meant to be played that way. You're supposed to zoom out, assess the battlefield, you know, look. But I feel like I'm an observer, right? I want to see the world, right? I want to peek around the corner, like, you know, and see things, and not just, you know, scroll a mouse all the way forward. If you like high fantasy, this is great, and it just feels like a more mainstream way to play. Honestly, like it's more mainstream combat. It's still tactical, it's still strategic. It's just a little faster and more ground level. It makes you feel a little bit more involved in the world rather than just being this like thing looking down at everything. I mean, if you like fantasy, I think it's right up your alley, right? Like if the Dragon Age has its fan base, Baldur's Gate 3 has its gigantic fan base. I don't think you're gonna get as much of that. Like Dragon Age has those elements too, but I don't think they're on the same level as Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate 3 is an absolutely behemoth of a game. Like behemoth of a game. Like it's huge, absolutely gigantic. I'm not saying this game isn't gigantic because it's huge. We only played the first act and it seems huge. But like on scale, I don't think it's not on par with that size. Which doesn't need to be, right? That's the whole thing. Thanks for the follow, guys. I appreciate it.
I don't usually see elven ruins that haven't been detected.
No, I don't know. Honestly, I didn't mess with any of the settings.
Not many people come this far into Arlen.
I'm one of those freaks that likes motion blur in games and filters, just because it adds to the effect. Like the fogginess in the environment makes it look a little bit better, in my opinion. This is a great shot of going through the forest, seeing the giant castle.
No, it can't be. Not here.
Can't be what?
We have to get over there.
I mean, we played on PC, 32 gigs of RAM and 4070. So remember seeing, because I asked about the GPU and it was a 4070. So this, and it was on SSD. So this was what we used there. I turn on VSync. I like my frames capped at 60 personally, but like this is all, you know, it's personal preference, man. Like whatever you want. If you think it looks better with VSync off and MSAA off, then like go for it. You know, that's PC gaming. There's a lot of customizable options on PC gaming that you can do to make things look the way you want to. Ultra widescreen support, that kind of stuff. Like I don't, you know, I'm not even sure if it supports widescreen support, so don't quote me on that. I'm not sure. I would be shocked if it didn't, honestly. It's kind of a standard now. I don't know how much RAM it uses. They might have released their specs. Let me see if I can find their specs for you. I think we were on 32 gigs at the rigs we were playing on in the event.
Got it.
Bring it over here and slot it in.
So according to their website, the minimum requirements are an Intel Core i5 8400 or AMD 3300X, 16 gigabytes of memory, and you need a GTX 970 1650 or a Radeon R9 20x for minimum, and then SSDs preferred. Recommended, these are the recommended, is Intel Core i9 9000 series A, AMD Ryzen 7 37000X, 16 gigs of memory of RAM, 16 gigabytes of RAM, and then an NVIDIA RTX 2070. So, or an RTX, or AMD Radeon RX 5700 XT. Boy, those names are very long. And then, you know, SSD required. That's what it says for recommended, required. I mean, I don't know, like SSDs are pretty standard now. So, and it says AMD CPUs, I'm almost going to require just a V2. I'm not a PC expert, so I'm just reading from their site here. I'll put the link in the description for you folks. Looks like 16 is what they recommend, so again, what they recommend that doesn't necessarily mean that you'll be able to get 4K, you know, 120 frames per second, you know what I mean? Like, but there are people out there who do that. Let me pause this. We go to the combat again. I have some late game combat here. Well, it's 9:54. I was going to do this till 10, unless anyone has any other questions or wants to see anything else that I've already shown. I tried to get a nice palette variety here, kind of a little bit of everything. And also, Easy Elias, like, when you played Baldur's Gate 3, did you play it solo or with friends? Because by the time I got into it, my friends had already dumped thousands of hours into it, so they were done, and I had to play solo. So that could have affected my overall experience with the game as well, just playing it by myself. And the companions were so thirsty. All of them were incredibly thirsty, and I don't know why they were all... I'm like, where's the friend option? I think you're a cool dude. I just want to hang out with you. You know what I mean? I think you're a cool person. I just don't want to, you know, immediately have sex with you in that game. So. Yeah, it's a shame I can't just upload these segmented clips and call them, you know, combat gameplay, mage gameplay. I have to editorialize it in some fashion. This is my way of doing that. Talking over it with commentaries is the best I could do in the short notice. I wish, trust me, I would have made 20 10-minute videos showing you folks as much as I could. But this is what a 2-hour stream showing a variety of gameplay I think is good too. Again, if anyone has any questions, concerns, comments, that's what I'm here for. I did play the game for a day. This might be my holiday game that I play. We don't have a lot. We work very long hours here. We don't have a lot of free time to play games like just for fun. So, like right now, I'm playing Space Marine maybe a couple hours a week, maybe like a half an hour, 45 minutes every night. That's about all I get. This might be a game I play over my winter break, when I do get a break. And I actually, after being it with the day and talking to the developers, I am actually like more excited for it than I was. Before I was very reluctant to be like, okay, well, because I don't remember a lot of Inquisition. I don't remember playing what I did in that game at all. Never a good sign. I feel like that's the same way with the like Cataclysm, right? With World of Warcraft. Like I remember doing stuff in Burning Crusade. I remember doing stuff in Wrath of the Lich King. Cataclysm was a complete blur. Like I don't remember doing anything in Cataclysm, but I played it. Yeah, so you can see here at the bottom I now have access to 4 mana points rather than my 2. So that gives me more options to do more crazy stuff. It's a little bit of hand holding, right? A little bit of like power scaling. Like we don't want to just drop you with a million tools all at once. We're gonna slowly. There's also, remember this, like in terms of Baldur's Gate 3, that game has a lot more freedom in terms of what you can do, the weird physics and where you can go, moving objects, like that kind of stuff. This game is more of a organized matter, right? You have those conversations that change things for sure, that change your companions, stuff like that. World events that change things. So I played a mission that I wasn't allowed to show, and in that mission we had these amulets. And these amulets, you can kind of see it here on the screen, on the bottom, at the very top of the quad triangle, whatever you call the cube, the diamonds. You'll see that little symbol with like there's four little sections. Like that's like an amulet that you can change. And based on the amulet, different things can happen. Like some of them are activated, some of them are passive. I don't know in terms of collectibles. I don't think I picked up some stuff that you could sell for money, but I don't think I didn't see any like something that would be defined as a collectible. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm sure there are. Like, I'm sure there's things that you can get to make the lighthouse look different. You know what I mean? I don't know how deep those go, but you know, they could just be something stupid and little. But the game seemed to really emphasize combat and story, where like it's two things. Like exploration is one of the core pillars, but this is an open world game, right? The levels are decently sized. They're not small, but they're not gigantic either. So like this for example, like this is a very scripted event that you fight through, right? There's a little bit of like off-beaten path exploration. Like, you know, like a hallway, you can go find a chest that usually have money or some kind of item you can sell, or equipment, right? How many active abilities do you get at a time when you're action choosing? It looks like 4. So companions, and this is later stage in Act 1, so I have 3 active abilities, but you can also have like a Y button to like do a special attack. Like there's the skill tree. You saw the skill tree, right? Like I said, it's pretty big, but a lot of those abilities are just like improving abilities you already have, or like passively adding to something. So you'd have to go down one of the trees. I didn't try to go down. I went down the necro tree like hard. The only reason I have the AoE freeze is because I was forced to go up one to go to the left. So I'm not sure. I want to say like 3 or 4 probably. I didn't sit down there and math the skill tree. Which I can. So like not all those little blips are activated abilities, right? Some of those are skills. I know you can hold down you can quick access your skills by holding down a button. You don't have to go into a menu. And I know you can customize the skills of your companions. Some of them can heal, some of them slow time. Usually, what I've noticed, it's some type of utility and an offensive ability. Usually. So like the mage has like a slow time ability and like an ice shards ability. So like the slow time is utility and then the ice shards are this. Harding has like a knockdown ability, a heal ability, and then like a damage ability. Like so like 3 at a time, but I do believe you can customize those out. Like I didn't see how many abilities I could get on the ability wheel. That's a good idea to do for the next time I do an RPG, just see how many abilities I can tack on. But like just like with an RPG, like the more you vary, the less specialty you focus in, the less damage you do in that area. So you could have all these abilities, but they may not do a ton of damage because you spec'd too wide, right? And a lot of the active abilities, like the Death Caller, like 2 active abilities are in that tree. Like 2. So like you have to go through a lot of passive abilities to get to those 2 activated abilities, which is like Spirit Bomb and the ultimate. Crypt Handler or Crypt Hands or whatever. Like, and a lot of these, and don't be concerned, like those are activated abilities. There are skills that you do by like tapping or like holding something down on the R pad and doing a regular attack. Like there are different modifications to attacks that aren't necessarily, that don't cost mana and aren't necessarily skills, like abilities you activate. They're just things you do in your combo, which again was which I felt like Dragon Age Inquisition was lacking, right? It was wait to, you know, do this burst combo and then wait, charge up your meter, then wait. But you're doing lots more stuff the way you attack. I don't know if you were in the stream earlier, Epic, but it's kind of like a Space Marine 2 where like you tap X and then the timing of your taps and how you do your light attacks can have different effects. So you tap X 3 times and then hold it a 4th time for like a big AoE, or tap X twice, then tap it twice and once more, then you do something else. Like so there's more variety in the combat, and it's definitely like it's still heavily tactic and strategic based, but there's also like a skill element to it too, especially with like the tapping to attack and the different varieties of attack. So yeah, the two of the abilities are in each of the trees. Two of the big abilities. Void Blade and other stuff. Tempest, Chain Lightning, yeah. You can kind of see where they go. Like, I feel like that the there's a lot more unspecialization stuff. Like the fire is not specialized, the lightning isn't specialized, the ice isn't specialized until you get into that corner tree. But you have to spend a hefty amount of points to get to there to get the ultimate, because you want the ultimate. The ultimate's cool. You want the ultimate. You want the other ability usually too. Bolt volley. That was one of the things I was talking about. Like bolt volley is a good example of that. Rewind it here. Oh, nope. There we go. So bolt volley, like this was a cool, like I talked about the stream already, but like this is one of those combo things. So it's a timing your button presses to your normal attacks that have like a unique skill or ability, right? Trait. I think they call them traits. So yeah, traits. So this is just one, but like there's other ones too. There's ones for necrotic, there's ones for fire. Like there's different things that do different things. Yes, there are. There's 3 different ults for each of the specializations. So there's an ult for the necrotic tree, there's an ult for the spellblade tree or the void tree, and there's an ult for the shadow hunter tree. I'll go over it here. Let me pause it and I'll show you. Oh, did I skip over it? No, I think I go back to it. Go back. Come on, Plain Gray, go back. There it is. So like this is the Shadow Hunter tree, or the whatever you call it, the this is a Vortex of Shadow. This is your big AoE special move, ultimate ability. And then in Deathcaller, that's not it. Go. It's the Crypt's Herald. So it's a big. I'll play that a little bit so you can see the. Oops, went back too far. There we go. It's like a big AoE that you summon, and the hands come up to the ground. You float, and you kind of do AoE damage and add debuffs to all the targets. And then let me go back down to the Void tree, or the Spellblade tree. And then Thunderous End, like so, like there's only 3 ultimate abilities in the skill tree for each class, or at least for mage class anyway. There was 3. It kind of gives you a little preview here about what it looks like. Like a big wave of energy that hits them. It's 1500 electricity damage. That's pretty much it, folks. I mean, I feel like I talked for a long time, for 2 hours. Let's see. I believe it hits public in October 31st. So like, got a little over a month. About a month and a week. Well, actually, October's a long month, so maybe a little bit longer. It goes all the way to the 31st. So September goes to 30th. So you got a little bit of time. Over a month. A little over a month and a half, a month and a quarter maybe. Something like that. So you got a little bit of time to prep. This is as far as I know, in my little world, this is the last preview before the game is out, before reviews start hitting shelves. So I want to thank EA and BioWare for the opportunity. Again, I want to thank the Reddit mods for letting me post a link to the Twitch channel here. I mean, like, I know that's self-promotion and I get the rules. I really appreciate being able to put that there to get people to watch, so I'm not talking to myself for 2 hours. That's always a plus. And just to be clear, I'm not playing the game. Some people are like, how is he playing the game? I'm not playing the game. These are pre-edited segments. Pre-edited. So your background, I believe, only affects dialogue choices. So it doesn't affect like your fighting style. It doesn't affect, like, you can be an assassin and not an Antivan Crow. Right? You can be a rogue that's not an Antivan Crow. I believe the background only affects conversation, casual conversation and dialogue options. So there were things like that I heard from characters when I was, when I was Defender of the Dead, like, oh, we found you in that temple fighting off all those like undead spirits. Like, that's why we chose you. Like, there's stuff like that. It's just added flavor for your character personally. But I would imagine if you go to Tevinter, I hope that's the right city that I'm saying, as with the Antivan Crow background, you're going to have this a blast, like, because people are going to recognize you, they're going to talk to you, you're going to have different dialogue options, be able to expand on dialogue options, so... But no, you don't have to be an Antivan Crow to go down the Antivan Crow arc in the Mage. You don't have to do that. I mean, like, it's the flavor, right? Maybe you're an Antivan Crow that's not a rogue, right? What path would an Antivan Crow take if they were a mage, right? If they had access to these powers, I think that's the idea behind that skill tree. No, because I chose Mourn of the Dead. Or wait, let me go back to those character creation, guys. Character creation. Yeah, so I chose Defender of the Dead. This is the only, like, I don't feel like this gave me any... I think they do give you a little bit bonuses to certain things. Like, let me see, like, back here we go. I'll move my, here. This is a great example to show. Let me move here. So you can see to the right, like, there's things that give you bonuses, right? So you gain reputation faster with the Mourn Watchers, because you are a Mourn Watcher. You deal increased damage versus undead and demons, and then you can apply an additional affliction stack on target. So that's, from a gameplay to mechanic wise, that's what it adds, the different things. I'll run through them real fast so you can look at each one, and I'll pause it. Okay, so the Grey Wardens, right? This adds flavor. If you meet another Grey Warden, you're probably gonna have more dialogue options. But your reputation with the Grey Wardens gains more quickly, obviously, because you're a Grey Warden. You deal increased damage to Darkspawn, obviously. There you go. And base defense and health are slightly increased. So, like, there's a little bit of, like, gameplay add-ons for your background, but I don't think it locks you out of like, it's not going to lock you out of the Antivan Crow skill Spellblade set as a mage if you don't choose the Antivan Blade background, the Antivan Crow background. And we have Veil Jumpers, gain reputation. They all, like, gain reputation to the same... Oops. Pause. There we go. So deal increased damage to Fey Touch, deal slightly increased critical and weak point damage. Right, there are weak points in the game. There was a boss battle that I don't know if I can talk about it. I definitely can't show it. But, like, there were things that I did on the boss, again, leading to tactical things that if I hit all of them, they would fall down. But it felt very tactical, right? Not reactive, but very, like, I need to hit these points so it falls down and I can do increased damage. Kind of like if everyone's played Remake, Final Fantasy Remake, it's kind of like that, or Rebirth. Taking elemental, damage exploits, stagger them quickly, build a stagger gauge, and the stagger takes 100% more damage or whatever. We can go through these because these are cool. Not a lot of games do this. This is very Dragon Age. So Shadow Dragons. Shadow Dragons, right? You gain reputation with Shadow Dragons more quickly. I'm going to start sounding like a broken record. Deal increased damage versus the Venatori, which are the Blood Mages, I believe, right? The Blood Mage cult thing. Yeah, no blood mage skill for the mage. I'm disappointed in that too. No shapeshift tree and no blood mage skill. That was a little disappointing. Your class specific resource generates slightly faster. So if you want to, whatever you want to do, whether that's mage, warrior, rogue, whatever this is your backstory, you'll generate your resource faster, slightly faster. What's next? Come on, Past Greg, read faster. There we go. Lords of Fortune, gain reputation with Lords of Fortune more quickly. Deal increased damage versus mercenaries. Okay. Perform takedowns and enemies with slightly less effort. So I guess they have a lower threshold for when you can do a takedown. So that thing is modded. Takedowns are like finishers. You can. I mean, I did a few of them in there. I was usually just shooting them from afar, so I really didn't get that close. But like Space Marine takedowns. And we have the Morn Watch. Reputation with the Morn Watch. Deal increased damage to dead demons. We saw this one already. You can apply an additional affliction effect stack. Like I said, there were a bunch of keywords here. Primer, affliction, stagger, sunder. Like there's a lot of keywords here that I don't have enough time to do that, to analyze the combat that deeply. I would need to play it for a few days. Be like, okay, but usually as you play through the game, it introduces things and see in the bottom left, you can see, oh, no, not the Antivan. Somebody might want to see the Antivan crows. Go back, Greg. What did you do? One more, Greg. To the right. To the right. Yeah, I should have clicked that. I regret not clicking on all of them. That was my mistake. I really wish I had done that. Because they all give cool little backstories. There we go. Even Crows. Again, Assassin's Creed. They love their belts. So, increased damage versus Atam. I think those are the things. They're like a race in the game or a faction that are like fighting over something and they take refuge in Tevinter. I don't know. Like someone in the comments will know those. I don't remember them. I remember them being mentioned in Inquisition, but I don't remember a lot of them. You hold an extra potion. There you go. You hold 4 instead of 3. So the standard is 3. So yeah, that's basically it, guys. I mean, I feel like I talked a lot. Move this combat along. Feels like a Ghostbuster beam. I'm gonna move my thing so I don't snake that. I don't snag you not seeing that stuff. Okay. Yeah, yes. Oh, wow. I switched back and then you get me right back in. Yes, let me show you the different. I believe there's 5 different difficulty levels. Let's see. We'll go back here. Here you go. Here's your difficulty levels. You have Storyteller. Then you have Keeper. Oh, the combat gameplay still playing. Stop. Adventurer. This is what I think this is what I played on. I was tempted to do the next one, Underdog. So I would suggest, like, I found this once I got the combat down, I felt it relatively easy. I would definitely play on a higher, if you like challenging games, definitely play on a higher difficulty level. I think the standard one's too easy. So that's one takeaway I would take away from the demo. Play Underdog or higher. You can see like enemy aggression, like oh, let me move my thing again. I keep getting in the way of these things. Move this. There you go. Sorry about that. Yeah, like look at that. Look at the stats. Everything is maxed out. Incoming damage, enemy aggression, tactical challenge, defend timing, like everything gets really, really nuts. And then where's did I go to the final one or did I skip it? Yeah, I think I just played the standard Oh, look at that. You can do Unbound and you can customize something. Look, like this is what I'm talking about. Like they really go all out on just playing the way you want. Right? So like maybe you want the combat really easy, but you want the defense timing to be insane. Right? So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 difficulties plus a custom difficulty setting to tweak everything. Right? So like that's pretty rad. On a scale of what? 6? 1 to 6 and everything. So incoming damage 246, enemy aggression 246, tactical challenge 6. So you can like do all that stuff. Enemy aggression, I would gonna guess is how often they focus you and not your teammates. That all the way out, they're not even attacking your teammates. Probably they're just probably wrecking you. But yeah, Oh my god, I've been up since 8. I haven't had breakfast and I've only had coffee and it's cold now. Now the question is, should I keep streaming? Maybe some of the Spell Orb gameplay again. Because I already showed this, but someone might have not seen it. So see, very Dragon Age-y, very MMO-y, but like definitely more engaging. Definitely more engaging than, you know, than Dragon Age 2 or even Inquisition now, honestly. You can even like tell, like just like in Dragon Age fashion, you can open the wheel and like tell people to like focus this enemy, you know, that kind of stuff. You can tell them who to focus on. Oh, no problem, Krager. Thanks for all the questions. I appreciate it. Again, we cover everything. I don't know who's reviewing this game. I'm the resident fantasy nerd on staff, but I don't know if I'll have the time to dedicate to something like this. Is, you know, it's probably a huge RPG. I don't know how long it is. Safe to say it's long. There's still a ton of things that are coming out that are going to get reviewed. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is coming out, Indiana Jones. Like, there's a ton of stuff coming out. I'm going to Tokyo Game Show next week, so I'm out. So, yeah, it's just, yeah, the game, like I said before, I was very, very, very pleased with what I played. I came in very pessimistic. Not hating Inquisition, but definitely, like, very neutral on it. Hating Dragon Age 2, loving Origins. I feel like they took fragments of each of those past core 3 games and really like combined into something different and unique for this series. Especially with how like RPGs, and it's weird too because like, you know, Baldur's Gate 3 came out and made huge waves, right? That's a turn-based game, isometric turn-based game. We're seeing a lot of them now. You had Defeat. I died. I'm bad at game. All right, so I mean, if any other questions, I mean, once I beat this boss on screen, I'm just going to probably end the stream and thank everyone for watching. So if you have any other questions, let me know. Be happy to answer them. Or if you want to see anything else, that maybe you came in late to get to see something, you want to see something specific, I can try to pull it up if I have it in my pre-rendered stuff, my pre-edited stuff. The Spellblade was cool. I wish I would have spent more time on the Spellblade, honestly. Spellblade was pretty fun. You kind of play like a rogue a little bit, mage rogue. Spell sword, I guess, is the correct term I would use to describe it for you D&D folks. Or Skyrim folks. Game looks, it's one of the prettiest games I've seen. Games are just getting so pretty. Space Marine 2 is absolutely gorgeous. This game looks gorgeous as well, like those cutscenes. And the fact that it's your own character you can create in the character creator, and they're in all the cutscenes is great. Like, that just adds more layer of customization. You're not going to see the same. You're not going to see the same player twice. All right, well that's basically it, folks. I want to thank everyone who turned into the stream today. That was a lot of fun. I want to thank EA for inviting me to their event and letting me share this footage with you and talk about it as part of the preview. Game comes out October 31st on all platforms, PS5, Xbox, and Xbox Series X and X, and PC. We will have a review on it on the website. Don't know when, but we will. You know, in the meantime, you can look at our coverage on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com at Shacknews Games, or sorry, at Shacknews, excuse me, at Shacknews. That's where all of our gameplay, our previews, our reviews go up. YouTube.com/@Shacknews Interviews is where we do interviews. We have a developer interview up there right now with the art director for the game. Please check it out. Our interviews don't get a lot of traction because I don't know why they don't. I think they're super interesting, but maybe I'm just weird. Thank you everyone who turned into the stream. Thank you to the Reddit mods who let me essentially tell people that this was happening today. We don't get to do this, and we got a really good reception today. I'm really excited about the reception we had. If we can do this in the future for a preview event, I totally would for other games. So in the meantime, yep, you can follow us, subscribe to our YouTube channels, or just visit our website, shacknews.com. If you want to read news, previews, reviews, it's a great reading experience on that site. I want to thank everybody for stopping by today, and have a good one. And we'll be covering this game as well as guides whenever the review goes up, which I don't know when it's going up. We don't even have a key yet, so I don't know when those go out or anything. So yep, thanks everyone in the chat for engaging and asking questions that we're here for. And follow me on Twitter. I'm at GregWork85. Follow at Shacknews on Twitter. Engage with us on that platform. We love hearing from people. We love conversation with the things we see. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in, and I'll see you all later.